Hello, football fans. Welcome back to episode 16 of Hurdle the Line. I have with me a bunch of great teammates tonight. We've got Ollie, we've got Sam, we got Tom, and we've got super producer Fletch with us. How are we, guys?
Good.
Good,
Yeah,
thanks.
good.
Yeah, very good.
This is what I've been told is Adult Male Christmas Day because College Football 25 is now officially playable for those of you who have ordered the deluxe editions, pre-ordered. I believe that's Fletch and myself. Sam, are you on that train?
No, I'm waiting till the free trial comes out.
Okay, right. So that'll be some exciting. I'm sure we'll do some updates next week on that. Everybody, I know last night was sort of disappointing for some, for me, and for my family. Yes, here, the Euros, with England losing to Spain. It was a great game. I think Spain probably was a better team all around in the tournament, but I don't think from a slightly outsider's perspective, I don't think England has anything to hang its head about. I think it played a great game, and ultimately it just didn't have enough firepower. But Tom, you disagree? You sad?
I do. Yeah, England just didn't turn up for the first, I don't know, 60 minutes, until Harry Kane came off, and then the game changed. We were pressing them, we were getting the ball, we were creating chances and stuff, but at the end of the day, Spain won a better team overall, so can't quarrel with that.
No.
Spain won every single game in the they played. They did it.
Seven out of 7.
Yeah.
They're the only team to do it in a World Cup as well. So,
And we're the first team to lose 2 Euro finals back to back.
And that was there for both of them.
Finals back to back.
But more importantly, the Tigers got a walk-off win yesterday against the LA Dodgers, and that's
Fletch,
just
we did it,
fantastic.
Fletch. You don't support England. We did it.
all I'm saying.
I'm
saying
well.
Hey, man,
I'm
that helps
well,
me.
and I'm not this bitter.
Well, we're going to move that right along. We talk about some real football, NFL football. Just playing, guys. It's all football. We all love it. Anyway, as we always do, we start off our show with breaking the huddle. This week we've got Fletch. I think he's got a couple of bits and pieces here. So Fletch, take us, break the huddle for us.
Yeah, so as usual, it's a really quiet week in the world of the NFL, with training camps just about to start as the point of recording. I think they start this week, actually. I think the Bears and the Texans, who get ready for the Hall of Fame game, are getting ready to get into the into training camps, and then subsequently over the next couple of weeks, others will join them. But there has been a couple of bits. The devastating news that former Ravens Super Bowl winning wide receiver Jacoby Jones passed away at the age of 40, which followed a huge outpour of nothing but love shown towards a fantastic player and someone I think a lot of us know of and absolutely loved watching play. The Lions announced today, the day of recording, the 15th of July, that Calvin Johnson, the greatest wide receiver of all time, will be inducted into the Lions Ring of Honor at the halftime of the 30th of September against the Seahawks. Jordan Addison was arrested for drink driving in California, wide receiver for the Vikings. And finally, the wide receiver documentary came out this week as well. So that's about all I've got.
Awesome. Thanks, Fletch. Yeah, the wide...
I was going to say, Fletch, I'm surprised you didn't mention Barry Sanders being cleared.
Yes. Well, to be fair, that slipped because it was very early this week. It kind of, anything that happens on kind of Monday, Tuesday tends to slip past me as I put this forward. So, but yeah, Barry Sanders was also cleared. Medically.
Yeah, good. Always good news to hear about the GOAT being okay. I did get to watch some. I was telling the guys I did get to watch a few episodes of wide receiver over the weekend. It's fun. It's fun. I've enjoyed it more than I enjoyed the QB show that they did last year. Though I know I'm in the minority on the QB show, but it was really cool. I actually was saying how much the second episode that focuses some on, well, they focus on all of them, but there's a really interesting Devontae Adams storyline, and I don't know, I just really like Devontae. I hope we get to see a great season from him this year. But anyway, they're all the wide receivers on the show are awesome. So it's fun. It's a fun watch. Fletch, as Fletch mentioned, we are, we're getting ready. We're a few weeks away from training camp starting.
2 weeks away for training camp.
2 weeks away. 2 weeks away. So with these next couple of weeks, we decided we have the Olympics starting actually next week, I believe, in Paris, 2024. But also, if you know, in 2028, when the Olympics are in Los Angeles, it'll be the first time that flag football is an actual Olympic sport. And our super producer Fletch came up with the idea of what if we did the Hurdle the Line Ultimate 7-on-7 team? And we said, absolutely. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to spend this episode doing defense, and then next week we're going to do offense. Now, here are the rules. I'm going to pick one of our teammates here, and we're going to pick a position. And I'm going to pick one of our teammates. We're going to nominate a player. Then another one of the guys will be able to nominate another player or second that player for the position. However, we're only going to be able to pick one player from each team for the entire team. So let's say if somebody from the Browns gets picked on a defensive position, no one else from the Browns can be picked on either defense or offense. That is it. The Browns are done. And that's sort of going to be the rules. And the idea is this is the exercises for 7-on-7, which is not full contact football like we're used to. It's more about speed and different things. So we're going to be looking at like how best to pressure the quarterback or get on the wide receivers, depending on, or do we want do we want just the fastest guys to be on offense so they can sprint past our defense, whatever. So that's going to be the discussions, and it's going to be a two-parter. So this is the first part here. So again, it's going to be the Hurdle the Line Ultimate 7-on-7 team. So to get us rolling off, we're going to start with the position of defensive line. And I'm going to ask Sam who he would like to pick for this position.
This was quite an easy one. I think for me, there's no one else you can really go with. And I know Ollie will second this and absolutely love this, and it's Myles Garrett. He's the best. For me, he's the best D lineman in the league at the moment. So, yeah, I couldn't go with anyone else but him.
That's great. You should have seen Ollie's face when I went to you, Sam, instead of him. Tom, Fletch, we know how Ollie feels. Do you, either one of you guys, do we feel like that? I would also say that was my pick. It really wasn't. I would say Max Crosby is definitely an honorable mention as for the season last year. Obviously, if Aaron Donald was still not retired, there'd be something to talk about him. Though I would say Myles Garrett, at least at this point in time, is the best defensive lineman in football. So let's put him down. That means
I agree.
Okay,
I agree.
I think that's a unanimous one.
Yeah, not every D lineman can jump over and block a kick without touching a player at 200 and however many pounds he is.
I think he fits 7v7 as well. He's the most. He's not just the best defensive lineman in the NFL. I think he's the most athletic defensive lineman in the NFL for his size as well. So I think he really suits the format well as well. And
as mentioned, it's one of those things with flag football where it's not. You can't hit someone. You can't just simply. It's not the physicality. You need the hands to be able to grab onto a flag, and you need those guys. I think Myles Garrett has the hands to do that, the speed of the hands and the placement of the hands to do that as well. So I think, his overall game fits the 7-on-7 mold, as well as being the best defensive end in the NFL.
And the other thing is, it's just fun to watch him play.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
I'm voting for fun in this exercise. My votes will be last.
He does have a great personality as well. That whole thing about him saying he was going to dress up as an elf if it got to the Super Bowl or won Super Bowl. Said something about they dress up as the elf, which he's just a fun guy.
I love the Halloween stuff he does every year, where he has a different theme, and he'll have the quarterbacks either on gravestones, or I think last year he did Stranger Things, and he had Vecna as himself, and then the quarterback was all the people getting raised up in the air and stuff like that. So he's got a great sense of humor.
Yeah,
it's great. So it's unanimous. Myles Garrett is our defensive lineman. So next we have linebacker. And Ollie, since I skipped you on the first round, we'll go for you. Who would you like to nominate for? And remember, there's going to be two linebackers for linebacker on our 7 on 7 team?
I'm kind of annoyed you came to me for this one because as I thought this through, I kind of left linebacker out of it, and I didn't really give him that much thought. And I've kind of been thinking, obviously, about what teams I don't want to take players from. So I've ended up in quite an odd list of linebackers, and so I'll probably first I will just probably go with Demario Davis from the Saints. I think he's a great coverage linebacker. He's been consistently one of the highest graded coverage linebackers in the NFL. Pretty much the last 10 years now or something. One of the best coverage linebackers. I think he's just a good linebacker overall, and someone that he might not be, one of the best premium at the position, but I think he's one of the better of the next up, and someone that we even had on our list of linebackers that we debated the other week. So
Right.
I'm going to nominate, Demario Davis.
Would there
I
be any
second that.
second? Okay.
Yeah,
Would anybody?
he was on my list as well.
Great.
Same.
I
Would
was
anybody
gonna
like
say,
to
out of the
nominate
teams
anybody
that
else?
You're not going to go for.
So my second pick was Patrick
I-
Quinn.
Oh.
But I'm
Patrick Quinn.
I'm completely happy for someone to swap that one out. I don't really care too much.
Does anyone like a Luacon, or is it just me?
No, I like him.
I like him. I didn't have him on this list.
Yeah, he's not on my list, but I like him.
But yeah, he
Well,
led the league in
Matt
tackles,
Milano?
didn't he? Like 3 years in a row. It's crazy. Oh yeah, he's a good one.
See, now I've done something that's. I know we've already talked about this, Ollie. I've done something that people probably aren't going to like, and I've put one of those edge rushers that are cross with a linebacker. And again,
TJ
this is
Watt?
purely because of the again the style of play that the way I see 7-7 is playing, and just who I think could be really good.
God, I hope
in
you're about to say what I would
7-on-7.
think.
Micah Parsons.
Yeah, I mean
My
that's the no-brainer to me is Michael Parsons for this.
Micah Parsons was my linebacker along with Demario Davis, just purely because he was like, if you imagine that you're going to be up against, if you're obviously going to include a running back, you're going to need someone who's basically going to just spy that running back and just run him all over the field, and that's what I imagine Micah Parsons would do. So that's why I put him in there.
I'm happy to do that because I'm thinking DB for flex. So I'm happy to bring in that kind of he is a pass rusher, but like you said, he's more than capable in linebacker coverage duties. So I am happy to accept Micah Parsons.
Are we? Okay, so let's put Michael Parsons. So we've got 2 linebacker positions coming up. So let's just do them both right now since we're talking about it. I was going to bring up Michael Parsons, that was going to be my one too. So, and honestly, I'd love to just get the Cowboys off the board because I don't want to put any other Cowboys on this team.
Luckily we can't.
Agreed.
Okay, so with the. Are we missing Roquan Smith here? A conversation about him at all? Demario Davis is. I think he's up there too. I know you guys mentioned. The other thing is also Quincy Williams came up on mine, and I don't think there's going to be a real. But I know there's another position on defense we might want to save the Jets for. So.
This is the difficulty I had because I think that, like you said, Quincy Williams, not in any normal situation, probably would be in the conversation. Fred Warner probably would be in the conversation. And
Absolutely.
so would Roquan Smith. But for me, they're those positions I want elsewhere. The next best for me was Demario Davis.
Okay.
And
Agreed.
the Luacon's a really good shout. I do like a Luacon. I just don't think he would suit 7-on-7 personally.
I also had Bobby,
that's fair enough.
the Giants linebacker,
Bobby
Okoro.
Oh.
Is it Okoro?
Bobby
Okereke.
Okereke, that's it. Bobby
Yeah,
Okereke, because I thought I'm definitely not having a Giants player anywhere else. So
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good shout. I do quite like him.
I was going to throw in Bobby Wagner, who's now on the Commanders.
I had him on my list, but
A shout out there. Or even, when I was thinking about linebackers, I was thinking about potentially having one who's better in coverage, one who's better at coming down to the line.
that was my thought with Patrick Quinn.
Yeah, and trying to kind of balance it out. And even, I mean, it kind of surprised me. He never really thought of him, but Frankie Louvu from the Commanders as well is fantastic. He's a really highly graded in coverage. Not good,
even on that
not
terrible
great
Panthers team as well. Like he was really good, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think this is the thing, is that there's a lot of those sort of linebackers.
Hybrid linebacker. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the fact we haven't even mentioned T.J. Watt. I mean, he could play that linebacker position, but like I say, if you're then having Micah Parsons, you can't really have Micah Parsons and T.J. Watt together.
No,
I just don't think that would work.
I mean, TJ's arguably better in coverage than Parsons, but I think Parsons is just so athletic, younger for this format. So I agree, Parsons. Yeah. So we going Parsons and Davis.
If you're going to match him up with like Demario Davis, who is that more like, you know, the older head, say, then it's probably better to have someone like to partner him up with someone like a Micah Parsons.
Yeah, I like that.
So we have Micah Parsons and Demario Davis. So the Browns, Cowboys, and Saints are now all off the board.
And we get to take the Saints off the board, which is always a good thing.
Well, I don't even like put him on the board, really.
I didn't exactly mention, but Demario Davis was also my pick, and I'm
great.
Very, very going happy to bed tonight, knowing that my wife loves me for putting a Saint in there.
He is good. He's so good, man. He deserves it.
He is good. I have no problem saying when Saints players individually are good. All right, moving right along, guys. We are now to our cornerback position, our first cornerback position. I think there's going to be a lot of... So just so the audience at home knows, we're going to have 2 cornerbacks and a safety in this. So I'm Tom. You're going to be up with our first nomination here for the first cornerback position.
For me, it has to be Sauce Gardner. I think, just the way he's excelled in the league since he's come in. Obviously, he was an All-Pro in his first season. The first All-Pro, I think, rookie defensive back in 56 years or something ridiculous like that. So yeah, I think he deserves a spot at the cornerback position.
Yeah. Anybody want a second?
I mean, I agree with it, but I don't like. I personally think Sauce is overrated. That's just me. But I understand why he's in there.
I agree with it. Just to play devil's advocate, I will just say to push back on Sauce, maybe in a 7v7 format, he's not exactly a very good ball player. He hasn't got the best ball skills. He's not actually. I mean, he's a lot better in. Don't get me wrong. He's very good in man, but he's much more of a zone corner. So maybe you could make the argument that 7v7 is not really, as fitted for him. But he is Sauce Gardner. He is, like you said, All-Pro his first 2 seasons in the league. Arguably the best corner in the league. So it'd be quite silly having a team without him on it.
We've got 2 cornerbacks, so
Pat Surtain.
I mean, that was what I was about to say. Do we just want Sauce and Surtain?
Yeah, we do.
Should we just move on?
Yeah.
Like, okay.
I think so.
That was so good.
I'd like
this
to
is going very quickly.
I'd like to throw Jalen Johnson into the argument.
Not done it long enough for me.
No, he only had he had a really good year last year, but that was in a contract year and stuff as well.
On the up, definitely, but I want to see one more year before I put him on a Sauce or Pat Surtain kind of level, personally. And I did debate L'Jarius Sneed. My thinking, I was just kind of like with the linebackers, I was thinking, who are some corners from some teams that I won't take any other players from? And he plays for the Titans. I forgot about that. So he kind of came in my head a little bit, just purely thinking the fit. I mean, he's a very versatile corner, so he'd be really good fit for this. But no, I think Sauce and Pat Surtain is arguably the best you can get.
Yeah, because obviously I would pick Trent McDuffie if we were doing multiple positions with
that was it. This is where you've got to start thinking about the other things, because that's exactly where I went with a few of them, is that I didn't want to take up other positions.
Exactly, that's it.
Tyron Johnson, yeah. All right, so we've got our two cornerbacks, Sertan and Sauce Gardner. So that takes the Jets and the Broncos off. It's weird the set of teams that we have now on this list. We're going to move to safety, and because I'm only going to be nominating one Falcon for the entire exercise of 2 weeks. I'm going to say Jesse Bates, and I just want to say I understand he was all pro this last year. And here's my pitch for him for this position, for this team specifically. The Falcons defense was not great, but it wasn't horrible. But he was the best player on the Falcons last year, and he single-handedly won them 2 different games by intercepting the ball. Week 1, he did it twice. Granted, it was the Panthers, and it was, what's the Panthers quarterback?
Bryce Young.
Bryce Young's first game, so fair enough. But there was games where Jesse Bates single-handedly won in the game while Desmond Ridder was on the other side trying to throw it back to the opposing defense. I think he's a stud. I think there's a reason the Falcons were kind of maligned for giving him the money he did, and now they look like geniuses if he can keep it up. And also, it takes a team that we're probably not going to take anyone else off of that on the board. But I know there will be different feelings about this. So I'd like to nominate Jesse Bates, but I totally know Kyle Hamilton and also Antonio Winfield have great arguments as well. So,
I mean, I share your sentiment about. I mean, I also think he's really, really good. I think he's underrated. Someone obviously saw him twice a year for the first 4 or 5 years of his career. And someone that didn't think it was an overpay when you did give him that money, I thought that was a great deal. I think the Browns were, rumored to be in for him that year as well, but kind of got priced out of it. So, I understand your pick, but personally, I mean, this was really hard for me between Winfield and Hamilton because I personally would want Hamilton. Mainly for the format we're playing as well. I mean, he's a unicorn at the safety position. He's 6'4". I think he's 6'4". He's over 200. He's an absolute unicorn at the safety position. Can still, he's still really, really good in coverage. But can almost act as, especially in the modern NFL with the nickel set. He can play basically as an extra linebacker. So, but then I keep going to the Ravens for another position. So it's really hard for me to decide between the two, and I don't know. I mean, I suppose before I decide, I'll listen to the rest of you arguments.
I've gone Anton Winfield. For me, I just think he's, in my personal at the moment. I mean, I know obviously Hamilton's he's not been in the league longer. I just think Winfield's to me, he's the best safety in the league. So I just think and like I say, I like with you, Ollie, I've got the Ravens pick for another position. So for me, Winfield was my choice. Again, though, if we weren't to go down the Hamilton pick, I wouldn't be against it. I do like him. I also really like Jesse Bates. So for me, I'm happy with all 3.
Can I just make one more point about Jesse Bates, and I will rest on Jesse Bates, whatever the team. Jesse Bates again was on a subpar defensive team and put up he was a safety on a team that had the most sacks it's had in 20 years basically, whereas Winfield is playing on a team that won the Super Bowl 2 years ago, and the Ravens were one of the best defensive, one of the best teams in football. All I'm saying is Jesse Bates was not on a good football team, a very mediocre team, and on a very mediocre defense, and was having it makes it much harder. That's all I want to point out. But I agree, both Winfield and Hamilton are great players. I just want to say the degree of support around them, I think, does make a difference. To be honest, and this is where the issue. And this is obviously we're going to come on to it, but I think this is where maybe the flex position comes in as a potential. If you were looking at, I know people have wanted to potentially go cornerback. For me, there is a potential that you could then have someone like a Winfield and Bates duo together. I mean, I've not got Jesse Bates on my flex, but again, I only chose the guy who I've got later on, obviously. I only chose it because I was trying to think of a second player to go in that position, and I chose someone else. But I mean, like I say, it is the possibility we could use that flex position for someone like that. Where else would we use a Raven for? What are we thinking of the Ravens?
Tight end.
Tight
Okay.
end.
because
Yeah.
I ended up getting to a list where it was either Mark Andrews or some not that great tight ends. So
Are we putting, I'm assuming in that scenario you have Amon for wide receiver on the Detroit?
no, but let's not spoil
No.
that. Let's not spoil that for next week.
Okay. But we
let's
just we have to talk through this. Okay.
But that's a cliffhanger. Find out why I don't have Amon-Ra.
I absolutely love Amon-Ra, but yeah.
So, Tom and Fletch, what do
Neither
you
do
think
I.
about the safety? Why can I really?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I had
Fletch, were you?
I was going to go with Kyle Hamilton, but also then thought I want the Ravens for next week. So I went with Antoine Winfield as my primary safety. However, if you will allow me to skip forward just like 20 seconds, Jesse Bates is my flex. So, yeah,
I will.
Winfield
I will.
for safety.
I'll concede. I think Winfield wins it out in this group. So let's go Winfield for safety.
I think I've got to say that I think the safety position of all the ones that were available, just based upon the teams that were available, I think was the hardest position to actually choose anyway. Because, like you say, I think there are, I would say, at least 5 players in that position who you could easily make a sensible argument for, whereas like the others, I think a majority of them spoke for themselves, which is probably why it's not taken us very long.
And I think Winfield, the reason I have gone with him is
you've got to play chess.
Exactly, that's the reason I think why I've gone with Winfield in the end is just purely I'm not going to take another Buccaneer player. He's the best player I'd have taken from them, most likely. So
Nice. All right. So we're now down to our flex position, which there's a lot of discussion on this on the defensive side. So I would say before we get started, we're probably either thinking cornerback, safety, or defensive lineman, maybe. I don't know, or another D end, I guess. So we'll see. Ollie, I'm gonna since we're getting back around, I'm gonna let you nominate our first flex player, or what you're thinking in terms of
so
position.
more so thinking than player at this minute. I probably would look to go with a DB. We've got Micah Parsons in the team now, as well as that kind of extra rusher if you do want to send 2 at that poor 1 offensive lineman that the other team have. So I'm thinking DB. So I suppose we kind of come back to the second best of the corners and the safeties we were talking about. So we're looking at Jesse Bates. For me, I had L'Jarius Sneed down as someone. I'm not ready to pick the player yet, but I'm thinking DB.
I'd have to agree with you there, Ollie. I'd have to agree with you there. I mean, having watched L'Jarius Sneed so closely, I would go with the corner as well, and I don't think Sneed's a bad pick.
Versatility
I've watched him progress over the last 4 years. Like last year, he was unbelievable. The season before, he was like underrated. He can do so much as well. He can rush. He can, cover. Like he is just a do it all sort of cornerback. So that's the kind of guy that I would want at 7-on-7.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah.
Sam, what are your thoughts, and what was your thinking with the flex position on defense?
I mean, I went safety, and actually my actual what I've got written down, however, I would happily switch my player up to Jesse Bates, was Minka Fitzpatrick. He was my go-to guy. I was trying to think of who could fit that backfield flex position, and he was, because again, thinking about the teams that are available, I completely forgot that L'Jarius Sneed has gone now to the Titans. Titans, and I completely forgot that, so I ruled him out completely, thinking he was still at the Chiefs.
It's the main reason I thought of him. The main reason I thought of him was just going through teams I didn't.
So I mean, to me, I wouldn't be against Minka Fitzpatrick. I wouldn't be against Jesse Bates. I wouldn't be against L'Jarius Sneed. I think they all have their merits for being in this team. It's just it depends how you want to set up again in a 7-on-7. If you want to have, if you prefer to have like your two safeties, then you have to go Bates or Fitzpatrick. If you'd rather go for three backs, then it's Snead all the way.
Fletch, who did you have in your flex, and what was your thinking?
Well, I did just say that I put in Jesse Bates, but actually I have just realised that I've made a critical error in putting Jesse Bates because of something next week. So I had a backup at every single.
No, I haven't. Never mind. Ignore me.
I
was thinking the same thing, and then I realised
on offense. I'm so excited to see.
I have I have kind of a backup at every single one, including the flex. And either way, I was pretty much going to go safety, and similar with the linebacker, and I guess somewhat with the cornerback. I wanted the duality there. And I know Antoine Winfield, I'm thinking of not just Antoine Winfield particularly in coverage. I'm thinking Antoine Winfield can come down. Again, he's very, very helpful in the pass rush. So I'm thinking of someone who's going to be just simply elite in coverage. And Xavier McKinney was the one I chose in my flex position.
Another Giant getting chosen.
This is way too many Giants.
No, he plays for the Packers.
Oh, has he gone to the Packers now?
Yeah, he's gone to the Packers. He went under massive contract. It was like 80 or 74 mil.
So
there's another Packers cornerback that's pretty good. I can't think what
Jair Alexander.
Your Minka pick was really good, Sam. I think I considered him for my safety just as the safety. The reason I cancelled him off the list is because I was looking at Patrick Queen at linebacker. So that's a really good pick. But I think to make my final, because I didn't actually officially make my pick, I will go with Snead. I just think I want another DB. I'm kind of expecting most teams that I go up against in this situation to use their flex on another wide receiver. So that's why I want another DB and specifically a corner to cover that wide receiver. And I think Snead's the next best on the list. And I think just like kind of Tom said, he provides so much versatility that is so translatable in a 7v7 setting. So I will further Tom's pick as well with Snead.
Just out of interest, if we were to go D lineman as the flex position, who would be people's choice? Because for me, it'd be Max Crosby.
That's what I had. So my thinking was, if you want somebody who has speed and also can get the quarterback, but possibly could give you some coverage in the middle. Micah Parsons sort of that guy too, but I really like Max Crosby because you do have to have somebody rushing every single down, I believe.
Miles.
Miles is going to be doing that, but it's just nice to have another. As somebody who doesn't have good defensive end play on his team, I'm just really jealous.
I bet.
The more I can get, the more So maybe I'm just living vicariously.
I think that is a good idea, but I just think the fact that we've gone with Parsons as that linebacker, I think does eliminate that personally for me. But I think if we didn't go with Parsons, I think that would have been a good shout. But
I was just more trying to
TJ Watt. I mean, I probably would have gone with. I slightly still have TJ Watt a little bit over Max, even though I think Max could overtake him. I probably would go TJ Watt as well, just as I want to see Miles and TJ on the same team. I think that would be quite a funny, not just look good, but I think it'd be funny for the locker room having them on the same team.
And I mean, even if you were to, I mean, obviously I know that none of us would go Niners. I mean, Nick Bosa is still an absolute beast at edge as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, true. You could stick him in if you weren't picking someone else who we may or may not want next week.
Someone else, yeah.
I suppose it depends what skin colour the opposition quarterback has, is whether or not I will pick one of the Bosas.
But yeah, he's just a worthy mention, I think, because I know that based upon the format, I don't think any of us really considered him. It's the same with Fred Warner. Linebacker.
That's the thing. A lot of players, I think, we didn't even get to discuss. That a lot of people listening might be thinking, why on earth have they not discuss this player at this position. But yeah, again, to make obviously in case they missed it, we can only have one player per team. So I think that's got in
on both defense and offense.
So that's clearly got into a lot of our thinking here.
Yeah, like I said before, we're playing chess, not checkers here, and there are just certain. I think you look at certain things around the league where I don't know, like there are certain positions where someone is so good that even if you had, when you're looking at kind of the disparity there is bigger in one position and not as big in the other. And you kind of have to play that game of, something's going to have to give if you want X player. Then, you're going to have to leave out someone else. It's just one of those things we've got to do today.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, that's what makes the format good. And I suppose it's probably what made it easier for it. May or may not have made it easier when we're doing discussing it. But I do think that, I think next week could be even shorter by the sounds of it, because I think we've all got the same ideas in our heads. But, maybe we'll just have to come up with maybe if we get through it quick, maybe we think of like a B team or something like that.
Honourable
That sounds like a consolation prize.
We know we already have a disagreement with the Amon-Ra St. Brown one, so at least we got one disagreement.
Yeah, or at least we teased it. That's called a tease.
Exactly.
Save it for the pod, boys. All right. So what is our final answer here?
Is it Sneeds? Is it me and Tom with Sneeds, or does anyone else want to?
I think the fact that we've got two that are definitive on Sneed, and I completely forgot about him, so I'm on the fence purely because I wanted a safety over a DB, but I'm not going to argue against Sneed, put it like that. But I do think it is, like I say, I do think it's that flex position was really difficult to fill because, like I said, Jesse, but it feels harsh leaving players like Jesse Bates, Minka Fitzpatrick out of this team because they are so good, but someone has to sit out.
Exactly.
I'm happy to go with L'Jarius Sneed. I'm very happy. The arguments have convinced me that it's a, we're sound. And then, who else are we going to pick from the Titans? So fine, we'll let them have a spot.
Calvin Ridley.
It's fine.
What, are you telling me no one picked Tajay Spears?
What?
Treylon Burks.
AJ Brown 2.0.
yeah, that's it, exactly.
Like this, I've not. I mean, to be fair, I've not picked a single Rams player, which is quite sad, really.
You see, this exercise was quite nice in terms of because the Browns pick is so easy that I had no kind of like self-conflict of like, do I leave this Browns player? It was so easy for me to pick Miles.
No,
so
you do not leave that Browns player.
Exactly.
Right.
Like, do you know what I mean?
I mean, if Donald was there, he would have been left out. Put it like that.
Well,
you can't argue against the best D lineman in every generation.
Oh no, of course, but I would have argued that right now I'll take Miles.
Yeah, me too.
Well,
yeah,
a guy near the start of his career by the guy at the end of his career. Yeah.
Well, just so the audience knows, Ollie was campaigning and then also threatening towards the end where we started if Myles Garrett didn't get on this list.
I would have just
it would be a sham. He was going to quit not the whole pod, but just this episode, then he would burn down every.
If it got that far, it depended on what your arguments against it would have been how far I went with it.
I think he quite quickly realised that leaving the pod wasn't the leverage that he thought it was. Because everyone kind of went, okay.
Cool.
Well, it's because the Browns are the most followed team in the UK. You could have so easily found another Browns fan. So,
yeah.
We would have got Batchan. I mean, he's just as...
Shout out to Bat.
But they wouldn't have that... They wouldn't have that smooth, sexy voice, Ollie. So we need it for the pod. We need it for the ladies. All right, I'm just going to recap our team here. So for defensive lineman, it's Myles Garrett, Browns. It is Micah Parsons, our first linebacker, Cowboys. It's Demario Davis from the Saints. Winfield is our starting safety from Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Our cornerbacks are Surtain and Sauce Gardner from the Broncos and the Jets. And our flex flex position is L'Jarius Sneed from the Tennessee Titans.
Now, that is a team.
So that's a strong team. That's a fast team. That's exciting. Probably would have been better if Jesse Bates had been on it, but
that's back-to-back champion L'Jarius Sneed. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I think this is a really good team. The DBs especially.
Ultimate team. Would you say?
I would even go further as ultimate and say
gold standard
or platinum standard.
Well, no. If we're going off the Olympics, then no, we'll stick to this is a gold medal winning. This team is placing first.
This is a gold medal caliber.
They might have
this is where Fletch missing the pre-production meeting before the pod where this was all discussed, and then coming in with his brilliance is we get to make fun of our super producer over here for a minute. So that was good. So so next week we will be back and we'll be doing 7 offensive positions, including a flex. I can guarantee you it will be a much more lively debate. I don't know. This was fun. This was cool because I definitely did not know how this would go, and I was very excited about having to make everybody compromise, which is never anyone's favorite thing. But it looked like we were kind of all on the same speed. Fletch, you got something for me here at the end?
I do. Now I was debating it, considering that no one considered Ifeanyi Melifonwu for the positions, but I will still drop it anyway. Last week, if you listened at home, then you'll remember we had a little trivia episode, and there was a segment in there that was very much appreciated, that Tom absolutely smashed, and Chapman was fantastic at as well. And Chapman really liked it, so I'm going to give you another one this week. Little bit of an easy one, particularly for Ollie and Sam to get into. So, are we ready for another guest, a player from their career path?
So is this teams? Is it the teams that they've played for?
The mascot.
The mascot. I will not tell you the place where the location, just the mascot.
Oh, okay.
So, this person
Makes it harder like that.
It goes
Blame Chapman.
college. It goes college.
But blame
then,
Chapman for that. Yeah.
The whole team. Look at Ollie's eyes.
You know how much I love mascots.
Right. So, for this week's, they went from a bulldog to a lion to an eagle to a bear.
So, Georgia.
Swift's still.
Wait, what was the second one? Sorry.
Yeah, Swift.
It's Swift.
Yeah, it's got
DeAndre Swift.
Yes.
DeAndre Swift.
Fantastic.
There you go.
I just couldn't remember him when he became a bear. I was like,
I couldn't remember the second. What was the second?
Just become a bear.
What was the second?
Eagle.
Is that their mascot? Is it just an eagle?
A lion, an eagle, and a bear.
I thought you were going to say like.
No. Sorry, not like the on the field mascot. It's the team moniker, whatever.
Team
Sorry.
moniker.
Calm down.
Stanley the Bear.
I thought you were going to give the actual mascots. That's why I was like.
You've just disappointed Ollie so bad. Sorry.
So hard. Like...
Yeah, I was expected to have to try and work out who they actually were, who they were, and then go.
That's why I was confused when you started saying the things. I was like, these are mascots, are they?
It's the moniker. It was the moniker. That's what Fletch said. Isn't it? The moniker of it.
I thought you said the mascot.
No, that's what it was. No. I do think they said the mascot, but meant the moniker.
Right.
Because that's what Fletch corrected that last week.
Okay.
Oh, well, if you want to just kind of... So they went from a Rory the lion to a Swoop the eagle to a Staley the bear.
Nice. Thank you.
Nice.
What about the bulldog?
From Ugga. They went from Ugga.
Yeah, Ugga.
Actually, I don't know what the bulldog in the costume's called. That's kind of dumb that I don't know that. I'm sure I do, and I'll go, but
probably something like Bully the Bulldog or some play on
Bulldog. Thank you, Fletch. That's very fun. We're going to keep bringing those back and back again. I would like to say that I did well the first couple, and then Tom just started smoking me because they were just like those obscure players, and Tom would be like, is it blah, 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 blah. Like, What? Like, yeah.
That's when with the stage, i.e.
Yeah. Well, as we do every week, we have one last fun question for the team, and I have an Olympic genre one for you guys, and this is I have one for next week, one for this week. So for this week, if you personally could participate in one Olympic sport, which Olympic sport would you have wanted to participate and why? I'm going to give everybody 10 seconds, and then I'm going to start with the big winner of the contest last week, Tom. Tom, what Olympic what Olympic sport would you have participated in?
I would go with the 100 meters. That way, if I won it, I could say I'm the fastest man alive.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. And get your own Nike deal or whatever shoe you want, right? All right. Ollie, you're always quick on your feet. Which Olympic sport would you love?
I will also have to go 100 meters as a former sprinter as a child that wanted to be Usain Bolt. So yeah, and like Tom said, you're the fastest man on earth. You become quite famous just from winning that race. So 100 meters for me.
Nice.
Good man.
Sam, if you were going to compete in the Olympics, what would be your sport?
My sport would probably be the one that I actually did do at athletics club a long time ago, which was discus.
Oh, nice.
I was not
Mr. Olympian,
that.
Sam.
Well, saying that, I did discus, I did shot put, and I also did the hammer. So I did all three of them.
I was going to ask if you did
discus
shot.
I found was the most
Is
fun.
that
Yeah, shot. I didn't like shot. The actual movement within shot was just I found it awkward. Whereas discus, it's basically just throwing a really heavy spinning disc, which is really fun.
That is fun. That's cool. Fletch.
Yeah, this is horrible because I watch it every year. Well, every 4 years I watch the Olympics and go through it thinking which one would I rather do, and my ADHD has me wanting to do all of them, all of the time.
so?
I'd like to just do an odd one. Well, I don't know. I'd like to do something that wasn't kind of your typical one. I think I'd love to give something just for badminton for the why not?
Ooh,
badminton.
nice. Yeah, give it a go.
Or table tennis.
Yeah, I love table tennis.
Just
Table tennis would be a fun one.
My backup would be basketball.
Well, oh, yeah.
Of course it would.
Hey.
Sorry, I forgot we weren't finished. I'm so sorry, Chapman.
Dadgum, Ollie. Got to cut this out now, Fletch. So my backup one. So first I thought I would go with pole vaulting, which I was a pole vaulter in high school, and I was horrible at it. But I did it because I thought chicks might like it. They didn't. And it was just fun to do in the spring because I ran track and did other stuff. But then I realized, as an American, the only answer is being on the NBA, or excuse me, being on the Olympic American basketball team because of two things. As long as I'm not the white player they put on from a college team just to have one white player on it, I'm actually going to be an NBA player. And if I'm an NBA player, that means I'm making anywhere between $20 and $50 million a year, and I'm super rich, and I get to play on the American Olympic basketball team, which for all but like one Olympics is awesome. So that's my choice. Like hanging out with Curry and LeBron and Tatum and all those guys, like that would be amazing.
So my pushback on that would be, would you not feel like, because it's so expected of you to win and that you can't, it's a lose-lose almost, kind of, because yes, if you win, it's great, you won, but the whole country expected you to win. Whereas if you lose, you're known as that one American team that lost for the next 100 years.
Ollie, if I'm making $20 to $50 million a year, I'm sleeping quite well every single night, not caring. But I would say what's going to be great about this Olympics is I think Canada. I'm sure the U.S. is like, we're not like strong, hard, big favorites. I mean, there's a lot of really good European teams.
They only beat Australia by 6 points earlier today.
Yeah, it's going to be a really competitive basketball Olympics. It's going to be fun to watch, which I think is great. Yeah. It's really great that the sport is like that. And also, the two best, I mean, you could arguably say two of the best players in the NBA the last 3 years are not Americans. I mean, Joker and
Jokic and Lukic.
Luka and you could also say
and Jokic.
And what's his name from Milwaukee. Giannis, yeah.
So,
So
Luka's not at the Olympics. His team lost to Giannis' Greece in the qualification, so Luka will not be at the Olympics. For me,
Wow.
France with Victor Wembanyama, Rudy Gobert. I mean, in the rules where you can stand in the paint for as long as you want, you've got Victor Wembanyama and Rudy Gobert there, so that's going to be very hard for any team to score on. So that's the team I'm looking for to watch.
Yeah. But anyway, I just went because I knew that would make me, very rich. And I was very excited
Is
about
golf in the Olympics?
It is.
It is.
I maybe go golf then, because they're quite rich as well.
I'd
Yeah,
go golf, and I'd also potentially go football because it is in the Olympics.
True.
Well, yeah.
But I went with what I thought I would be next.
That's why it's open to interpret. This is what's so fun about it. It's open to interpretation until Ollie ruins it.
My second pick would be tennis. I think if I was to go for an alternative.
Chapman, I take it back. My second pick is not basketball. My second pick is skateboarding. Now it is in the Olympics.
I think they're going to take it out again. Though.
Nice.
Are they?
What about breaking?
Yeah, they're going to take it out again.
Why?
Yeah, I think. I don't know. I thought they were going to take because they're shrinking it down again. They just I don't know. Maybe they want not this year, but I think we'll see.
I was going to say because we have an American competing for Britain in skateboarding for us this year, so quite an odd one.
That's weird.
Well, I would say one of the cool things I found out this week that was one of my wife's friends from Anglesey is going up to compete for Great Britain on the weightlifting team, which is
that's cool.
Mad.
Good luck to her.
But I wanted to ask, can I ask 1B to that question, Chapman? And it's a really quick one. I don't know how much of you guys watch it, but I end up watching quite a lot and bouncing from sport to sport. Is there any sport that you sit there and just kind of, it surprises you how much you enjoy it watching it when it's on? I will watch I will watch the equestrian, and you best believe I know everything about equestrian for 3 days.
This is definitely a better question for my wife because she adores the Olympics and will watch every single day, every single event possible.
What's the one where they on skis and then they go down and then they pick up a gun and then they shoot something? And then they get back on
I forgot what that's called.
And then
it's cool.
And then they get back on the skis, and then they do some more stuff, and then they go back and shoot some more stuff. That one is just always
is it like
funny.
Skeet shoot?
Yeah, that one's always funny to watch.
Biathlon?
Yeah.
I can't. Yeah, I've got no idea what it's
called.
called.
It's
something to do with skeet shoot.
BIATH.
All seriousness, Fletch. My answer is volleyball for that.
Beach or normal.
And I'm not saying that in like a weird, like, oh, I like watching the Brazilian volleyball. Like, I genuinely, the volleyball is for some reason, I like playing it when I'm on holiday in Spain and stuff. It's a really fun game to play. I get really into it when the volleyball.
To watch, isn't it?
Beach volleyball is awesome.
Yeah, beach volleyball is so good, man. I love it.
It is. Yeah.
I'm going to age myself here again, which I know you guys. There's a old late '80s movie called Sight Out about a dude who I think he's going to be like a lawyer or something. He's in law school and then he ends up at the beach playing beach volleyball, and then he gets into the underground LA competitive beach volleyball, and it's
I'll have to do
and then they go to the big tournaments to win. Oh, it's fun. Actually, Pepperdine University, where I graduated from, we had two guys who I think they won 2 gold medals in 2 different Olympics for beach volleyball, and the regular. I like the regular. Anyway, I too think volleyball is awesome. I was going to suggest I really like Fletch. I get real into gymnastics. Yeah. I don't know why. Because it's incredible what they do, and the women's American team is always just stacked, and them against China and Russia every year is I don't know. I get real daggum patriotic on that one.
As a former county silver medal gymnast, I know, guys, you do look shocked, but I am very flexible. No, this was when I was 8 years old, so maybe not quite as flexible since then. But no, I too really enjoy the gymnastics as well.
Great Britain has a really good team too, right?
Yeah,
Great Britain's pretty. Yeah.
If I was to choose one, it would be anything in the velodrome. But I don't know what it's called, but it's the one where it's like cat and mouse.
Yeah.
where they're like,
Oh, I love that
stood
one.
and they're
Yeah,
on
yeah,
top,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
all of a sudden they go.
You
I
don't
like that
really
one.
know
Yeah,
what's
that's
going
really
on,
cool.
but it's really fun to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think is it the Kieran? It might be the Kieran's
Something
the
like
big one,
that.
isn't it? The Kieran's the one where it's like I think it's all of them. It's the Pursuit. The Pursuit's the one.
Yeah,
you're on
yeah,
about,
yeah.
I think.
You probably
I
ended
gotta
up
watch
sat
more
there-
of this.
Oh,
you sat there thinking,
So
"Gee,
good.
we
we
wanna
spent
go
so
back
so
much
to
good.
money
I love
on
watching it.
cycling as Britain. Obviously, how long ago was it? What Olympics was that when we threw all the money
2012.
into the and then obviously, yeah, that was it.
2012.
Obviously, and we dominated cycling for I think two Olympics.
Bradley Wiggins, Chris
Yeah.
Hoy, Mark Cavendish,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then even on the world stage outside of that, won the Tour de
We had
France
all the
like
women.
4
Yeah,
or
we
5
absolutely
years.
dominated
Well-
the cycling for a period.
Well, one of the cool
We did.
things was when we had the Manchester 2002
as well.
Commonwealth Games, they built the National Velodrome in Manchester, and
I've been to that.
It's been since then. Well, obviously it's part of the Etihad campus, which obviously
Yeah, it's right next to it.
indoor
Yeah,
track and
we
field-
almost filmed there one time.
the indoor track and field centre became the Etihad Stadium, and now you've got the National and the squash centre and all that sort of stuff, which is amazing. One of the cool things about gymnastics all this year is my daughter's really into gymnastics, and I'm going to watch one of her competitions on Sunday. And getting my daughter to sit and watch any form of sport with me is a losing battle constantly. She got semi-interested in NFL this year when she found out Taylor Swift was there, which fair enough. But she really, really wants to just sit and watch the gymnastics because she's invested in it. And it's something that I think I'm going to be grateful to watch a lot of gymnastics for this year. So,
Awesome.
That's great.
That's great.
That cycling is just called sprint. Apparently, it's just sprint.
Is it just a sprint?
Yeah, it's just two riders over 3 laps of the track, and they
Yeah,
just,
it's
it's
cat and
like a
mouse. They
cat and
go
mouse.
like on the outside of the track and see where they're
Yeah.
at and stuff.
And-
Yeah,
and
it's
then it
great.
gets to the final lap, and they just go absolutely.
And then
nuts.
they just go hell for leather. Yeah,
Yeah.
literally. Yeah.
Rowing as well. I like watching the rowing.
Oh, I love watching the rowing.
But let's not
See
go
if we
too-
can name every Olympic sport and how we like it.
We're British. We have to mention the rowing.
We have to mention the rowing. Well, we've mentioned it. It's checked off. Thank you so much, guys. It's been a great episode. Thank you for listening to us pick our ultimate Hurdle Line Ultimate 7-on-7 defense. Next week we will be picking our ultimate 7-on-7 offense, which should be very exciting for us. And then we'll be one more week away from training camps, and then we know it is season right around that corner. So stay with us. Please like, subscribe, tell your friends. Lots of stuff going on the AAW network. Fletch is doing a great job on the college football side with Sam involved, and there's a lot of other things going on. So please stay with us. It's only going to get better as we go on. Tell your friends, tell your coworkers, tell your family, and remember, hurdle that gold. Thanks so much for joining us, and have a great day.